Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that, well, it sounds incredibly straightforward, doesn't it?
It really does.
Renting a car in the United States. But as we've learned, it can actually be surprisingly complex, especially if you're, new to the country.
That's right. We often just assume certain processes are kind of universal,
Yeah.
but you dig a little deeper and you find these fascinating variations, local systems, different business practices.
And our guide for this particular exploration is Dane. He recently went through the whole process himself.
Yeah, his experience is really illuminating.
He figured, book online, show up, drive off. Simple.
Yeah.
But things took quite a few unexpected turns for him.
Dane's firsthand account is just invaluable, really. It exposes those hidden assumptions we all make.
Totally.
And it highlights that gap between what we expect and the reality of renting a car stateside.
So our mission today is basically to unpack Dane's journey, pull out the key learnings, and make sure that anyone else facing this for the first time is, armed with the knowledge to navigate it a bit more smoothly.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's dive right in. The first major hurdle Dane hit was the credit card thing.
Yeah, this is such a prime example of how things can differ. Dane quite reasonably thought his debit card would be fine.
Of course. Use it for everything else, right?
Exactly. For everyday transactions, it's standard.
So he lands at LAX. He's got his reservation confirmed, feeling good. And then, bam.
Oh, yeah.
The rental agency just says, sorry, credit card only.
Right. Plans hit an immediate wall.
So frustrating.
And what's interesting here is why. The agencies, they often explain they need that credit card to place a hold, a security deposit. It acts as a safeguard, against potential damage. Or if the renter were to, as they put it, disappear with the car.
Okay, I get the security angle, but it does make you wonder, though, doesn't a debit card with enough funds offer similar security?
That's a really good question, and it's subtle. While a debit card shows you have the funds right now, a credit card lets them place a hold against your credit limit.
Okay.
It's a different kind of assurance for them. It's less about the immediate cash and more about that established line of credit.
Right, and the system's built around credit reporting.
Exactly. And it also makes it easier for them to process potential damage claims or maybe extra charges after the rental.
So it's just smoother for their back-end processes, too.
It seems that way. It really underlines how, credit-driven many transactions are in the U.S. compared to maybe other places.
That makes sense. So Dane, even though he had the money available, he was stuck, couldn't get the car. That's a huge wake-up call, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a non-negotiable for many, many agencies. Crucial info for anyone planning a trip.
Lesson 1, learn the hard way. Credit card is often king.
Pretty much.
Okay, so luckily, a friend stepped in with a credit card, right? But the money surprises didn't stop there.
Not at all.
Let's talk about that barrage of unexpected fees when he returned the car.
Right. This is where that initial attractive price can be really, really deceptive. Dane saw $40 a day advertised.
Which sounds pretty good.
Yeah, seemed like a decent deal.
Then the final bill lands. $127.
Oof, yeah.
More than 3 times the quote. What on earth happened there?
Yeah, there's a whole host of things. There was a young driver fee because Dane was under 25.
Okay, that one's fairly common, I suppose.
True. But then an extra driver fee because the rental ended up under his friend's name, remember?
Right, because of the credit card issue. Got it.
Then an airport fee just for the convenience or inconvenience maybe of renting right at LAX.
Standard practice at airports, unfortunately.
And then the real head scratcher?
A wind fee.
A wind fee.
Are you kidding?
Nope. A wind
Wait,
fee?
what does that even mean? Did they charge extra if it was breezy?
Who knows? You can just picture Dane staring at the bill, completely baffled.
His comparison to ride-sharing charging for scenic views or emotional moments,
Yeah.
it really nails how arbitrary some of these fees feel.
It does. And while they seem maybe arbitrary or small individually, these less transparent fees, they add up. They contribute significantly to the bottom line for rental companies.
It's a common tactic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just car rentals.
Exactly. Across the service industry, which just highlights how important it is to really scrutinize that final bill.
Or even better, the initial agreement.
Yes, before you sign. It raises that whole question about pricing transparency, doesn't it? How clear are companies about all the potential fees up front?
It really does. You see that low number advertised, think you've got a bargain, and then wham,
Well,
all these extra. So it's not just about having the credit card sorted.
No.
You almost need to be a forensic accountant looking at that rental agreement.
Precisely. Don't just fixate on the shiny daily rate. Ask for a full breakdown. What are all the potential charges?
Before you agree to anything.
Understanding those fees up front saves you that nasty shock when you return the car.
Definitely. Okay, let's switch gears a bit, away from the money side, to the actual driving. For someone new to the U.S., yes.
Which, for Dane, involved, well, a heavy reliance on GPS and a fair bit of stress.
Oh, I bet. This is super relatable for anyone who's driven somewhere unfamiliar. Dane was immediately struck by just the scale of it all.
Yeah, the roads, the sheer number of lanes.
And the speed, the flow of traffic.
He described it as like 6 or 7 lanes, everyone going at warp speed.
Haha. Yeah, that can be a significant adjustment if you're used to different driving conditions.
Totally different. So naturally, he leaned heavily on his GPS for guidance.
Makes sense. And the instructions themselves, take exit 24B, keep right. They sound clear enough in isolation.
Right.
But the reality of processing that while also trying to navigate multiple lanes of fast traffic.
It may be feeling a little anxious about being in a new place.
Exactly. It makes it much, much harder.
It's that mental juggling act, isn't it? You're listening to the GPS voice, trying to spot the actual road signs, stay in the right lane, match the speed.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot to handle at once.
And when Dane inevitably missed an exit.
Which happens. He joked that the GPS just calmly saying recalculating felt like a disappointed sigh from his mother.
That's a perfect analogy.
Right.
We've all felt that GPS disappointment.
Right.
But it also highlights a key thing about relying on GPS in a new environment. It's a tool, a helpful tool, but not foolproof.
Good point.
You need to be prepared for it to sometimes mess up or for the road layout to be confusing and know how to recover without, panicking.
So the lesson isn't just use GPS, it's also be ready for the GPS to be wrong sometimes.
Yeah, and maybe even do a little homework beforehand. Look at online maps, get a general sense of the route.
Familiarize yourself a bit.
Exactly. A little pre-trip map recon can really boost your confidence and reduce that initial, oh my gosh feeling.
Understanding the general direction of major routes helps even if the GPS takes you on a weird detour for a minute.
Definitely valuable.
Now, Dane's rental adventure wasn't quite over even when he parked the car, was it? Even just returning it threw up one last set of unexpected instructions.
Yes, the assumption, the natural one, is you drive back to the lot during business hours, find an attendant, hand over the keys, done.
Simple handover.
But Dane discovered the return lot closed surprisingly early. 8 p.m., I think it was?
Wow, yeah, that is early for a major airport location, maybe. Imagine rolling up at 8:30 p.m.
Right. Expecting the straightforward drop-offs and finding the gates locked. Panic sets in.
Fortunately, Dane actually read the rental agreement, the fine print.
And thank goodness he did, because that's where he found the instructions for after-hours drop-off.
Okay.
The directive was, park the car in this specific area and then deposit the keys in a designated drop box.
Right. It really shows that more self-service nature you sometimes find in the U.S.
It does. It's a different kind of customer interaction, isn't it?
Yeah, no face-to-face handover. Just you, the car, and this mysterious box.
Which Dane described humorously as feeling like hunting for buried treasure in the dark.
Trying to find the right slot.
This just really hammers home the importance of paying attention to all the details in any contract, especially when you're in a new place. Those procedural details, even for something seemingly routine like returning the car, they can save you hassle, maybe even unexpected penalty charges if you do it wrong.
Good point. So the final piece of the puzzle, don't just assume the return process is simple or mirrors the pickup.
Exactly.
Read the contract. Look for those specific instructions, particularly about after-hours returns.
Be proactive.
Yeah.
Know the drill. It ensures a much smoother, stress-free end to the whole rental thing.
Okay. So after navigating all these twists and turns, Dane distilled it down to some key takeaways. His golden lessons, he called them.
Yeah, some really practical advice came out of it.
Let's just quickly run through those again.
Okay. First, and maybe most importantly, that near universal need for a credit card, not debit.
Crucial. Second, if you're under 25, just expect extra fees. Factor that in.
Definitely. Third, meticulously check all the fees on the agreement before you sign. Look beyond that appealing base price.
Don't get caught by the headline number. Fourth, inspect the car thoroughly. Take photos, maybe even a quick video, before you drive off and when you return it.
Yes. Protect yourself against being wrongly blamed for pre-existing damage. Very important.
And
Finally, get comfortable with using GPS, but also understand U.S. road signs.
Yeah.
Especially things like left lane versus right lane exits, which can really vary from other countries.
Good list. So Dane's experience, while probably pretty frustrating for him at the time,
Oh, I'm sure.
it provides a really helpful roadmap, doesn't it, for anyone planning to rent a car in the U.S., particularly first-timers?
It really does. It shines a light on how a seemingly simple transaction can have these unexpected layers of complexity.
Yeah.
It just emphasizes the value of being prepared, being informed.
Absolutely. A little bit of forethought, paying attention to those details, it can make a huge difference. Avoid the pitfalls, have a much smoother trip.
Exactly right.
And, considering all these potential hidden complexities in just renting a car, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other everyday processes, things we take for granted, might hold similar surprising nuances when you experience them in a new place?
That's a great question. Definitely some food for thought there.
Indeed. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.